Hello and welcome to Boomer Banter. My name is Wendy Green and I am your host. And every week on Boomer Banter, we talk about the challenges, the changes, and the possibilities that come with this season of life. And today we're going to talk about sleep, that delightful or elusive state when our bodies are supposed to relax, our minds are supposed to get quiet, and we're supposed to drift off for many hours. Okay, raise your hands unless you're driving. How many of you achieve that state of rest and relaxation for 6 to 8 hours a night? Oh, wow, not too many hands went up. I see you. You're saying you have trouble falling asleep. And I see you. You're the one who always wakes up tired, yawning throughout the day. Or oh yeah, you say you're the one who wakes up to pee and then you can't get back to sleep. Well, I am so glad that you are here today, because today we're going to talk about some of the sleep challenges you're having, how they could be affecting your health, and what you can do to improve your sleep. My guest today, Marie Sennett, is a certified yoga teacher and transformational life coach who helps overwhelmed professionals break free from the grind and fully nourish their bodies and minds. As a former civil rights lawyer, Marie knows firsthand what it's like to juggle a demanding career, community responsibilities, and family care, all while feeling there's never time for yourself. But after reclaiming her well-being through yoga, meditation, and intentional self-care, Marie now empowers others to do the same. Her personalized coaching approach helps clients embrace nourishing routines to bring immediate calm, energy, and clarity, while setting the stage for a vibrant future. So whether it's improving sleep, building strength, or flexibility, Marie provides the tools and guidance to thrive both today and tomorrow. So I am excited to welcome Marie to our stage. Hi, Marie.
Hi, Wendy. Wow, that was very, very cool. Thanks for introducing me like that.
I know. Did you see all those hands that didn't go up?
Yes. Yes. And there's been times when my hand would have been higher than anyone's.
I'm sure. So I want to start there. Tell me about your life as a civil rights attorney and the stress that must have been for you.
That was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. Especially when I was a public defender, because I had a caseload of 60 or more cases, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're dealing with 10 murders and 3 rapes and a bunch of robberies and drug cases, it's crazy. I mean, I literally,
That's a lot.
yeah. I woke up in Paris the first time I was there in the middle of the night screaming because I was having a nightmare. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this cannot be.
Yeah, no, this is not good.
No. So that's when I really started kicking in and taking care of myself with the yoga, because even if I only had a couple minutes, like I started with like 15 minutes a day. If I could get the 15 in, if I could only get 5 in, that was fine. And then I added 5 minutes of meditation, and that got me through. It got my blood pressure down. It got my weight under control. Yoga doesn't make you lose weight. It makes you in tune to when you're full, which is key to losing weight.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't take away all these sweets for Christmas time, though.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. It works them out.
That's right. We'll get to the new year saying with a new resolution, right?
Right. Yeah. And the other thing I found was I was sleeping better, but I was also more focused. My husband will attest, I became a much better partner.
Okay. So,
go ahead.
So what led you to yoga in the first place? I mean, how did you even have time to think about it as practicing all of those horrible cases?
Well, it's funny. I was living in Buffalo, and my neighbor downstairs said, hey, I want to learn yoga. You want to go with me? And I'd seen Lilia's yoga on PBS growing up, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. So I said, sure. So we went down the street to the Himalayan Institute, and at the end of my very first yoga class, we did this relaxation, and Wendy, my brain shut off. It shut
First
off.
time in a long time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so that became my addiction, it was like the dragon I was chasing. And for the next 20 years, my mat spent more time in the corner than it did on the floor until my husband said to me around the time of Paris, like, we want to have a fun retirement. And if you keep going this way, it's not going to be a fun retirement. It's going to be doctor visit after doctor visit after doctor visit. So that's when I was like, I got to roll out this mat. And I did.
So were you aware that it was affecting your health, or did it took your husband to kind of say, come on, Marie?
Well, my blood pressure went up. I could tell I was cranky. I wasn't sleeping, so I could tell. But to have him recognize it and be like, "Hey, girl," I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, yeah. So you started practicing. You unrolled your mat and you started practicing a little bit, but you were still working, right?
Right. I was still working these crazy hours, and I learned how to say I have to take care of myself.
Mm,
I cannot say, "Oh, I'll get to that later." I need to first thing in the morning because that was my time to do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Just go ahead and take care of me and move on.
So did you just one day say, you know what, I am done with this career. I'm going to learn how to teach yoga and teach yoga.
Yeah, well, as I was like feeling better, I was like, "Oh my god, like I need to bring this to other people, and make them feel as good as they do." Which was great. So it took me many years later to actually become a yoga teacher because I had to quit being a lawyer, well, part time, um, to learn, and then I ended up going back to law. That's a whole nother crazy story for another time. Um,
Okay, I don't know that story.
Yes, I fit it all in, and I'm not sure how is what it comes down to. Um, but I finally got to take that yoga teacher training, and I took it at the Himalayan Institute, which was where I first started my journey. So it made sense to go full circle, and it was great.
And so you just quit working.
Well, I eventually quit working. I got to the point where I could retire early, and
Ah,
so I've been having fun with that. So I always said I was, semi-retired. But while I was doing my last couple of years of being a lawyer, I wasn't the public defender. I was doing civil rights law, and then I was blessed to teach law school, which was a whole lot of fun.
oh,
So I could really concentrate on building my business and then walk away from it all.
oh, okay. And we're going to talk about sleep because that's what we told everybody we were going to talk about. And everybody has sleep issues, most everybody. So we want to deal with that. So I know that you have studied about sleep, and I just want to know from you what you've learned about why sleep gets harder for us once we're like over 50 or 60.
Yeah, well, part of it is our hormonal changes and having to deal with that. Part of it is, especially when we're retired, like I always say to people, we need to have a schedule. You can't just stay up late and watch TV and get up whenever you want to. You need to have the time that you go to bed at night and the time that you get up in the morning, and that has to be your main routine. And people fight me on that. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like you can go play and stay up late once in a while, but you really need that regular schedule. You also need to have an exercise routine, especially when it comes to the hormones, because the things that are going to help keep the hormones in check is a regular form of exercise. And it doesn't have to be, an hour in the gym and lifting weights and doing all this stuff. Yoga is fantastic exercise to use. It can be meditation with walking, but you want to get some physical exercise. And if you can do 30 minutes a day, especially as a retired person, that is wonderful. But if you can only get 15 in, that's enough to keep us healthy and keep us going. And the trick with the exercise, though, is to make sure you don't do it 3 hours away from when you're going to bed. Because if it's strenuous exercise, that's going to get your body all crazy. So if you're lifting weights or jogging, you can do yoga before bed, but anything strenuous, you don't
So
want
that's interesting because if you go to the gym at 5:30 in the evening, it's packed. Everybody goes after work. I mean, I've always been a morning workout person, but people need to know that, Marie. Most people are going after work.
Right.
And I guess they do it to work off stress to a certain
Mhm.
extent, and it's also kind of social.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have your gym friends.
Right, right. So there are, as I understand it, and from what we had talked about before, there are sleep cycles, right? That
Right.
that are important for our brains and our bodies. So can you talk about those a little bit?
Yes. Yeah. We have 4 main sleep cycles. And what's interesting is melatonin comes into play with the first one. So
Yes, I want to ask you about that too.
yeah. So the first sleep cycle is what we call our light sleep. And it runs about 1 to 5 minutes. And it's basically just your
Oh,
body calming down and just relaxing. And it's where melatonin actually starts telling your brain, okay, it's time to relax and go to sleep. So that's where melatonin comes in handy.
and
But
we normally have that in our bodies,
we
melatonin.
normally have that in our bodies, and the way to get it naturally in our bodies so that it will be helpful to us rather than taking the melatonin pills is when you wake up in the morning, spend 5 minutes looking at the sunlight. That's
If
it.
there is any.
Yeah, and if there isn't, you try and find other light.
I know, we've had just clouds for days now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but some form of light is gonna get your melatonin going.
Okay.
Because when we're taking melatonin to help us sleep, then it's gonna do. It counteracts that, and it prevents our body from going into deeper sleep.
Hmm.
So if you take it on a regular basis, you're not going to get the deep sleep that you need.
Because what you're saying is that the melatonin is the one that puts you into that light sleep.
Mhm.
It's kind of the drifting off sleep. But if you take it, it keeps you there. Is that
Right,
what you're saying?
right. It'll keep
Oh,
you in that spot. Yes.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and if you take it every now and then to reset your clock, that's fine. But if you start taking melatonin on a regular basis, you're not going to get into that deep sleep that you need. Okay. So the second phase of sleep is our light sleep, and that lasts about 10 to 15 minutes or 25 minutes sometimes.
So,
And this is where our respiratory system slows down, our heart slows down, our brain begins to kind of chill and process things and be like, what the heck happened today? What do I do with all this?
so you're kind of thinking in a sense while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Huh. If you are like many people I talk to, you may wonder what would happen if an illness suddenly changed your retirement plans. You've worked hard to build your savings, and it can feel scary to think about unexpected healthcare costs. That is one of the reasons I value the advisors at Greenwood Capital. They help you prepare before those costs start piling up, creating a plan that supports your needs and gives you more peace of mind. They are an independent registered advisory firm and a fiduciary, which means they must put your interests first. I also want to share that Greenwood Capital has compensated my business for this testimonial as a sponsor of the show. And if you want to support with your own financial plan, visit greenwoodcapital.com.
Yeah, a little bit, not a whole lot, but enough. And then the third sleep level of sleep is the really deep sleep, and that's like 20 to 40 minutes in each cycle, and that's where our body starts doing all that rebuilding. That's where we're rebuilding muscle, rebuilding bone, taking all those nerve
Really?
endings that are like what, and healing them. We're repairing our muscles. We're also
Love that.
strengthening our immune system.
Those darn nerve signals. So we have light sleep, deep sleep, and then very deep sleep.
And then the next one is REM sleep, when that's
REM
when
sleep.
your rapid eye movement. So that's where we're dreaming. So it's not really deep sleep. It's fun because we would think that the fourth would be the deepest. No, it's just a different way of our brain reacting and exercising itself. So here's where our brain actually processes emotions, tries to make sense of what our memories are, and kind of clear things around. Which is it's kind of neat, you know, and it's building a stronger neural paths between our brain cells.
So do we all dream? I mean, I hardly ever remember a dream.
We do dream, but we don't necessarily remember it. And we often remember dreams when we wake up in the middle of the REM cycle. But yeah, we do all dream. We just don't know it. Yeah.
And so the deep sleep and the REM sleep are kind of the repair stages.
Right.
And we need to get to those. And so what happens when we interrupt one of those? Like it's 2 a.m. and I got to go pee.
which we all got to go pee at 2 a.m. So, and it's okay to go pee and interrupt. But the trick is, how do you prevent your brain from like becoming super active, right?
Right.
Because especially like when I was a public defender, I'd be like, oh my God, that's what I need for that case.
I understand that.
Might be off somewhere else, you know?
Yep,
So what we do is like, so don't turn on the big overhead light. Have a night light so that you have that calm sense, you know? Try not to think too much if you're going to be in the bathroom for a while. So maybe you want to hum a song, you know, or, you know, tell yourself a silly story if you're going to be there for a bit, but try not to get your brain thinking about what's going on with politics, what's going on with your life. Just put that aside. And then when you come back to bed, you can do a little brain scan or body scan. So you can just like, say, I'm going to focus on my forehead. I'm going to focus on my eyes, my chin, and just go all the way down to kind of just get everything to relax. You know, if you don't fall immediately back to sleep, and a lot of us don't. If you find that you've woken yourself up though, and you're having a hard time going back to sleep, if you're there for 15 minutes, get up and get out of that bed, because then our brain's going to start thinking our bed is not for us to sleep in. And so you want to do something like go read a book that's not a backlit book, like a Kindle or Paperwhite or a paper book.
Okay. Yeah. So a real book, not nothing with that electronic lighting. Okay. Right. What about turning on TV so that you can kind of nod off again?
Nope. You don't want to get that. You don't want to have that blue light. That blue light is going to get yourself activated. Your brain is not going to go back to sleep. So you want to do something like reading or listen
to a podcast.
Right. Listen to a great podcast.
Right. Or listen to music.
Yeah.
But not dance music.
No, not dance music. Something calming.
Something calming.
Or do some more meditation if you like meditation. And the thing that I like about meditation is, you know, like yogis are terrible. I got to tell you, we are terrible in terms of meditation. We make people think you're supposed to have this empty brain and, you know, nothing's supposed to happen. That is so far from the truth. It's like, if I'm going to sit in a cave for 30 years, yes, but no. So a nice guided meditation, because our brains wander, and with the guided meditation, it kind of helps us go on a story or something, and then we can relax. And if our mind leaves the guided story, that's okay too. We just be like, all right, my mind went somewhere, let me come back, because we have busy minds.
That's right. And that's why I've read, that's why they call it a practice. Meditation is a practice, because you can't heart well unless you're living in that cave that you talked about. You're probably not going to have control over where your mind is going all the time, even if you're listening to a guided meditation.
Right. Yeah. And be kind to yourself, because that's just natural.
Yeah. I sometimes, I remember as a kid having a lot of trouble falling asleep. I'd get all nervous that I'd be the only one left in the house awake, and so I would sing myself a lullaby over and over in my head. Please go to sleep. Goodbye, baby. Oh, what a weird kid I was.
I got you here, Wendy. We're good. We're happy.
So how do you know, like, you know, I wake up, you want your cup of coffee, and you're sleepy at first. How do you know you're not getting enough sleep?
Well, let's step back, right? So the time that we're supposed to get for sleep in our later years in life is the same 7 to 9 hours every other adult is. We have this old wives' tale that says, oh, people who are older sleep less. No, we actually need 7 to 9 hours of sleep.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the results that we're going to get from that good sleep is our lungs and our brain and our heart are going to be rested. We're going to have energy. We're going to have a better mood. We're going to be creative. Our response time is going to be quicker, which is important when we get older, right? Because people say, oh, well, you don't respond as well, you shouldn't be driving. Well, if you get a good night's sleep, you're not going to have that accident. You're going to respond.
Let's hope that's right. Yeah.
You're also going to be better at problem solving. And God knows there's enough problem solving when we are in our senior years. And having the ability to stay present. right? So that we can be what we need to be. So those are the benefits that we're going to get from the sleep. I mean, I guess the next transition should be to talk about if we don't get enough sleep, what could happen, which,
Yeah, yeah, because I know I would say 90% of my friends and myself say, okay, I had 6 hours. 7 was a good night,
yeah.
So yeah, you've just busted a myth there. So what happens if we don't get that?
Well, if we don't get that, and your body may actually be, you might be lucky enough where you don't actually need the 7 hours, but most bodies do need the 7 to 9 hours. So if we don't get that, then our blood pressure is going to go up. Our chances of heart disease and diabetes increases. Our memory gets kind of funky. Sleep is important for that memory. It's important for taking on any type of dementia. It also, if we don't get enough sleep, then it actually increases our negative emotions. Depression becomes more common. We're definitely cranky if we're tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can bring more stress to relationships. And let's face it, like when you're retired, you're spending a lot of time with the people that you live with. I remember a friend of mine when her husband first retired, she said to him, "I married you for better or for worse, but not for lunch. Get the hell out of my house."
That's right.
So you want to get to sleep so that you're not having problems in that relationship. And also, if you don't get enough sleep, then you're going to lose your coordination. You're going to have a better chance at falling and hurting yourself.
Wow.
Yeah, and we talked about those driving accidents. So sleep's really important as we get older. Yeah.
Now, there are things that you have said also about, like, in the bedroom, like setting a good space for sleeping. What would that be like?
Yeah, I like to call that setting your sleep sanctuary. So one of the, it kind of feels good, doesn't it? So one of the things you want to think about is, well, what's going on in that room? What is the lighting in that room? You really want the room to be as dark as possible. So if you can have shades that are going to keep out the light when the sun comes up, that's great. If you can't get that, then an eye mask is going to be good, right? So you can sleep with that. Although my grandmother used to complain about her eye mask making a mess of her eye cream she spent so much money for.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The temperature in the room, you really, for sleep, you want it to be somewhere between 60 and 67 degrees, which sounds cold, but that is the ideal temperature for sleep.
Why is that?
The body just rests better.
Huh.
Yeah. You can add blankets and stuff in as you go, but the temperature of the room should be cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. You want to make sure that your air isn't super dry. We're facing winter over here in the East Coast that gets kind of harsh. And so you definitely want to have a humidifier in the room. And you can put essential oils in the humidifier if you want to, or you can have a diffuser to kind of make everything nice and calm and pretty. You want to also declutter that room. You don't want to have a bunch of stuff around because it's going to clutter your brain as you're trying to fall asleep. So it's a place to go and relax and rest. And it's not the room to have your TV.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I have had that fight too many times. Don't want a TV in the bedroom.
Yeah. People say, oh, it helps me fall asleep. No, it's blue light. It doesn't help you fall asleep. At least it doesn't get you into that deep sleep where you're going to be able to rebuild, right? It's going to maybe give you that light sleep. Yeah.
Because a lot of people talk, they fall asleep in front of the TV. I mean, that's just what they do. And I guess they've trained themselves that that's what they do. So if you suddenly were to take the TV out of the bedroom, that's going to be a big change for people.
It is going to be a big change, and I've got some tips for that too. But one other thing to think about is your sheets, which is going to sound crazy, but sheets are also important for that comfort. So you want to get like nice jersey sheets because they're good and soft, or if you're in a hot climate, you want satin sheets. Those are good. One of the best style of sheets is those Luxe, Luxe satin sheets. They are amazing in terms of comfort and softness. And the big hint, JCPenney's always has them on sale for like ridiculously cheap because they can go like, it's quite, $146 for a queen set at Penny's is $60. It's nuts.
All right. You heard it here. And she's not getting anything from JCPenney for that little plug.
I'm not. Although I've gotten some great sheets at a discount. And then I talk about doing your stress mitigating or stress melting routine before you go to bed. right? So that you got a chance to think about things so you can unwind. And so one of the things, first off, is go to bed at the same time every night.
Mhm.
And then don't look at a blue screen for an hour before you go to bed so that your brain can shut that down, and it's not going to affect the melatonin, right? Because the melatonin will
It's
kick in.
that melatonin, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You want to put your phone, if you can, for sleep in another room. You don't need it by your bed. And I
In
have people
case
go,
of emergency, though.
chances are you're not going to need it. That well, maybe for emergency. All right, we'll do that. You know,
I mean,
if you're in a situation where you think you might need it for like calling 911.
well, or you have an elderly parent who's gonna call you,
Right.
might.
Well, what I say about the elderly parents is you give them a special ring and you put the phone in another room, turn it up loud, and that ring will not only sound, but you'll also hear it and get up. But
Mm.
that way you're not tempted to pick it up and be like, oh, what's going on with this thing? Or what's happening with that? So that's why I say a phone in another room.
I have mine set on do not disturb after 10
Okay.
o'clock, so I don't hear unless it's my mom calling, and then
Yeah.
I would hear that. Yeah.
If you can do that and not pick it up, go for it.
Okay. Yeah. It's a security for me.
Yeah.
Um, and you had said I think it was you that had told me reading in bed wasn't a good thing.
Reading in bed for a little while is okay to wind down.
Okay,
Um,
good.
yeah, yeah. So you want that's a thing that you can do. You could read a book for a while, make that part of your routine, because then your brain is like, oh, I'm reading and then I'm falling asleep. Love it.
That's my routine. I
Yeah.
read, and a lot of times I'll find that I'm sitting there with the book in my hand and my eyes are closed and oh, Wendy, turn out the light.
Yep, yep, exactly. But it's good because your body's used to that. You know,
Yeah.
and even when you're waking up in the middle of the night, if if you don't have anybody else in the bed and you want to read a little bit, you can do that too. But you know, books good thing to calm you down. Something else that a lot of my clients do is they have a list that they do at night before they go to bed that they call the let it wait list. And they write
Oh,
down all this stuff that is like, you know, that I didn't get this done, I didn't get this done, I can get this done. So they put that down. Others do what's on my mind, a journal, how am I feeling? A lot of my clients do a gratitude journal. They just put,
gratitude. Yeah.
yeah, 3 things that I'm grateful for today.
I think that helps a lot too,
Yeah.
because it takes your mind off of all the clutter that's, all the stuff you have to do or think about or forget about, or I
Yeah.
like that. But you were going to give us some tips for those people that are used to falling asleep with the TV in their room.
Right, right, right. Sorry, I got lost. I got all excited about the
I
other
know we got excited about other things.
So this part of what you're going to be doing is the tips is setting up this routine. You're going to be setting up this stress melting routine so that you don't miss the TV at night, and you can start taking care of yourself and developing a ritual that your body's going to be like, oh, yes, we're doing this thing. It's time to go to bed. And also, there's doing a little bit of yoga that's very restful that you can actually do in bed is a great thing too. Yeah. So what I've got is a very simple routine where you do a forward fold where you're just reaching and touching toward your toes. Unless you have a back injury or osteoporosis, then you just kind of sit up and reach forward rather than bending so you can stretch. You want to put your legs up on the wall. Or up on your bed if you've got pictures on your wall. So you can do the routine. You can do the routine on the floor and then get into bed. You also can, and then from there you can do what I like to call a reclining cobbler, where you lay down, you have your knees bent, and then you put your arms out into a T and you open your knees and just let them open. And let the bottoms of your feet touch.
So it's just a very everything open, relaxed,
Yep.
welcoming the sleep.
Yep. Like, here we are, yay!
Come to me, sleep.
Exactly. And then another one is a very simple twist where you just bring your knees into your chest, have your arms out into a T, and then turn to the left for a little while, and then come back to center and turn to the right for a little while. Or if you have back injuries, you just bring your knees to your chest and hang out for a bit. And then what I do is suggest people get into bed and do just that little body scan again. Bring my attention to my forehead, breathe. Bring my attention to my eyes. Breathe and just kind of walk down the body. And come.
Yeah. So you don't have to tell yourself to relax. That's what I was always like, okay, forehead, relax. Okay, eyes, relax. But you don't have to do that. You're saying just think about it and take a breath, and
Yeah.
that would let it go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another piece in terms of the mindset, we talk about, I got to get to sleep. I got to get to sleep. I got to get to sleep. One of the things about coming back from the bathroom, don't look at the clock. You don't need to know what time it is. Yeah. But think about it as, I'm going to go rest, not I have to get to sleep. I'm going to go rest, which is a way of saying I'm taking care of me.
Oh. So my wise mother used to tell me that. I told you I had trouble sleeping as a kid. She said, you just need to rest. Just lie down and rest. It's just as good.
Yep, she was right.
So we've talked about melatonin and some of the risks about taking that on a regular basis, right? Like it'll keep us from the deep sleep. But what about other sleep aids like Ambien, or I don't know, are there other natural herbal things that people take to try and sleep?
Yeah. What's interesting, Ambien is like definitely prescription, and we have all those crazy stories of people wandering around naked with taking Ambien. But basil tea, which is literally taking basil leaves and making a tea with them, is like one of the most natural sedatives ever. When I was doing crazy hours as a public defender way back when, I would get home at the end of the night and I would sit down and have some basil tea, and I'd be like falling asleep before it was over.
Seriously,
it's amazing.
Does it taste good?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, it tastes like basil. It's a little minty,
Do you put anything else in it, like honey or cinnamon, or no? Just basil leaves.
Yep. And valerian is another herb that's good. That's not going to mess up your circadian rhythms in terms of calming down. Magnesium, believe it or not, which is something our bodies need a lot as we get older, because we take a lot of us take medications. My father gave me his curly hair and his hypertension that were genetic. So I've been on hypertension medication since I was 36. And that just eats the magnesium out of your body like you cannot believe. And so having magnesium is going to help us rest. And if we have restless legs, there's magnesium oil that you can you can put the oil on your legs, or you can take the magnesium orally. But I find it fun to put the magnesium oil on your legs, because then you're also massaging yourself. And
it's kind of soothing.
Right. I'm so special.
That's right. I just learned that magnesium also is good to take at night for leg cramps.
Yep. Any muscle cramps, even in your arms.
So is there a certain dosage to take that would help? Do you know? Or is that something to talk to a doctor about?
I would talk to the doctor to be sure. But if you take like a low level magnesium pill, that would help. And I think that's the reason why I like the oil for the muscular issues, because you don't need to talk to a doctor. You just put it on.
Yeah. So basil tea, valerian. Is that a tea also, or is that
you can get valerian as a tea? You can get it as a pill. I kind of like the ideas of the teas, because that's also like calming.
It could be part of your ritual, right?
Exactly.
Put on some soft music, have a cup of tea. Oh, and then do a few stretches. I love it.
Yeah, do the body scan and
I like that.
There's this cool product. I'm not trying to like get all these companies like heavy, but doTERRA makes this great thing that they call a valerian stick, and it is their essential oils of cedar and lavender with valerian, and you just put it on your foot at the bottom at night, and that's like just great for helping you sleep too. It's like, what? Yep.
Now, you said the room should be cold, but what about like wearing socks and heavy robes, and because people, as we get older, we get colder.
Right. You can be nice and toasty under the covers, but you want the room to be cooler.
Cool room, but moisture in the air. Okay.
Yeah. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Dark, moist, and cool.
And no TV.
And no TV.
And no blue light.
Yeah.
All right. Raise your hands. Who's going to? No. So I would say, if you were, when you advise your clients, like, okay, they've come to you and now you've told them all this, and they're like, oh my gosh, Marie, this is so much change for me. Where do I start? I can't do everything all at once tonight.
Right, right. Well, the first thing I would do is come up with a routine that you can do. So maybe you don't work on the room right away, but you start getting your brain ready. And the routine starts with having that schedule of getting up and going to bed at the same time. It's amazing what that thing alone is just perfect for helping with sleep.
Well, it's interesting too, because you've done some coaching for people in retirement too. And that also is about get a routine, because you've lived your whole life with a routine and now you're like floundering out there, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I guess we are creatures of habit and routine. And so it's hard to break the habit. So let's say tonight you're going to either do some of those yoga stretches Marie suggested, or have a cup of basil tea, turn off the TV before you go to bed, and don't turn it on in your room.
Right. Right.
And do that body scan.
That's a good start.
Yeah. I'm going to do that. I don't know about the basil tea. I have to try that. So if I try it like this afternoon, is that going to make me too sleepy? Like
Yeah,
it
you
really
want to try it. It's literally like a sedative. You want to take it as you're going to bed.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Interesting. Well, that's pretty magical if it works like that.
I was surprised at how well it worked with this crazy busy mind as a public defender, and I was like, so.
Wow, that is really interesting. So Marie has said that if you have further questions, you can get in touch with her by emailing her at Marie Sennett, Sennett, yoga.com. And occasionally you do like sleep workshops and things like that. Is that right?
Yeah.
How would people find out about those things that you do and yoga
Please
workshops?
email me and we can talk about it. Yeah.
So they can get on like an email list with you?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. And I've also got different handouts and stuff that if people wanted to, very minimal costs.
Yeah.
They could get those.
Okay. All right. No, that's good to know. So I really appreciate this conversation. I think it's going to be helpful for so many people. And I hope that those of you listening will consider one of these tips that Marie shared with us to try for a better night's sleep tonight. And I guess the other thing, Marie, like if I try these new things, is it going to right away make a change, or does it take a while for my body to readjust to some of these
It's
changes?
going to take a time for your body to readjust, especially if you don't have a routine and you watch TV to fall asleep. It's gonna take a while. It's not going to be an immediate thing. Although the basil tea definitely was immediate for me one night for sure.
So if I wake up at 2 to go to the bathroom, should I have another cup of basil tea?
As long as you don't turn on too many lights to make it.
Mm. Okay.
But you could definitely have another cup of basil tea.
Okay. Instead of turning on the TV and saying, well, I can't fall asleep, I'm just going to watch TV.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Sit back with the basil tea and the book. Good company.
Yeah. And keep the cat out of the room. She wakes you up too much. Oh, my cat. Yes. So one more thing before I go, though, I want to tell you all about my friend Jane Leader, who has a show called Older Women and Friends. And Jane is a former, maybe she's still a writer, but she is a writer, let's just say, and a podcast host now. And her podcast speaks to older women about many different things, kind of like we do: art, retirement, humor, ageism. She really is a good interviewer. She's just turned 80, so she has, a perspective later than I do. And I love listening to her show. So check it out. You can find Jane at janeleader, LEDER.net. And if you wanted to chat with me about anything, you can schedule a time. I know this time of year can be challenging for some people, and we can do a complimentary coaching call by going to my Calendly link, calendly.com/boomer-banter/30 minutes. All of this will be in the show notes. So feel free to schedule a 30-minute call and let's kind of reset your craziness that happens this time of year. Thank you again to Greenwood Capital for sponsoring this podcast. Greenwood Capital is a registered and independent advisory firm providing wealth management, investment solutions, and financial planning to clients in 23 states. So, Marie, thank you so much. I have really enjoyed talking to you. You have a wonderful, light, loving way of projecting. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I enjoyed being here, and I apologize again about the phone call. But
I know. Well, I hope you can help him. And so go deal with that. And thank you all for listening today. And until next time, take care of yourself. And I wish you a restful, restorative sleep tonight. Okay.
Thank you so much, Wendy.
Thank you.